broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where we broadcast Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We also do this on Ustream.tv. You could go to our website, which is www.cruzandhughes.com, and that's CRUISE and HUGHES, cruzandhughes.com. You could always see the broadcast that's playing right there on our website. All you have to do is click play, and you can watch us as we talk and wave hands and throw things at one another right here in the studio. But guys, this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. If you want to join the conversation, feel free. All you have to do is give us a shout at 347-857-3958. That number again here is 347-857-3958. Irv, my friend.
Yes, sir.
How was your day today, sir?
Great day today, man. Had a chance to get out and talk to a group of entrepreneurs about how to build their businesses, talking about government, talking about contracting, opportunities, all those good things.
It was quite a good turnout as well, I must say. I was there this morning at the event, and I was impressed. Everybody was there. They were quite studious. They had things to write with and write on.
That was a big deal.
That's a big deal, especially to a teacher.
That's right.
I know that made you feel good.
It did make me feel good, but it made me feel better that you were there.
Hey, well, I do what I can. I aim to please.
Well, let me tell you what, John. I don't know, man. You have a thing, folks. If you have not heard about how to get the millionaire mindset, man, you gotta just find out wherever John Cruz is talking and just go get in the room and just sit there. That's what you do.
Well, with that being said, it is Friday.
It is Friday, John.
And I'm sure you have something to complain about.
It's Soapbox Friday.
Let's hear it.
Every Friday, folks, if you're just joining us, every Friday, John and I have this show, right? And it's broadcast nationally, of course, and on Blog Talk Radio. But we take a little bit of time out each week just to get on our soapbox about something that happened perhaps during the week. Now, it doesn't have to be something specifically about business or even around business. It can be just anything at all. And so we take this time to get our rant on. And I have a rant.
Let's hear it. Crazy
people driving crazy. What is up with that?
Well,
you know what happened today?
What happened?
I left the seminar this morning.
That's right.
And I'm driving in a neighborhood, and I'm passing a school. And right when school is getting ready to let out, they have people called crossing guards. Y'all have seen these folks. And there is a person who was literally backing down the street in an intersection in a school zone where there are cones and crossing guards.
Wow. And children, I presume.
Well, the children all started across the crosswalk, but of course quickly realized that this person is backing down the street and got back up on the curb like they should have.
Wow.
And so, I'm going to get on my soapbox about that. You are not the only person on the street when you're driving your car. And you have no right to do crazy stuff when there are children and other drivers around in complete and total disrespect for other people's property and other people's safety, including your own.
I agree. I have to agree.
And it's like, wait a minute, what is going on? And why does somebody think this is okay? That's the soapbox.
Yeah.
What is going on in your head that you think this is okay to do?
Well, that's a soapbox I could jump on with you.
You can jump on that?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Backing down the street?
Where children are?
In an intersection. Yeah. Crossing guards, cones, the whole thing. I don't know. But that's...
Well, it's good that we complain about this on Friday.
Yeah.
Because the end of the week is here. and you can go into the weekend, you come out clear-headed, and you start the week off with a positive mindset.
That's right.
And that's why we saved this for Friday.
We do save it for Friday, and we only give it a few minutes because we have a great guest on the show.
Yes, we do. We do have a good guest, and our guest has been on the air with us a couple times before. Our guest today is Mr. Mike Muhney, and Mike is the CEO of a company called VIP Orbit Software International Inc. And Mike is the CEO there, as I said, and the co-inventor of the ACT software. So he was the guy who sort of started the whole CRM thing.
I like that.
I like that as well. And so we have him on the show here today. And we're going to talk a little bit about Mike's company, what he does now, and we'll also even sort of segue into some of Mike's other skills and talents as an entrepreneur that I'm sure will help some of our listeners.
Well, no doubt, John. One of the things I enjoy about having Mike Muhney on the show with us is, you ever meet these folks, John, who's just a deep guy?
Yeah.
But he keeps his propeller down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can talk to Mike about 10 minutes and you already know that he's smarter than you.
That's right.
But he's not going to intimidate you. That's the point. That's what I really enjoy about Mike. I just get the biggest kick. I know he can hear me smiling. I don't know. Hopefully he's not on Ustream where you can actually see me. But the point is that I always enjoy having Mike on the show, and even and especially in person, because you can tell.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, I tell you what, I mean, there's no better introduction than that, man. Welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I literally called in at like 1 minute to 5. I apologize for being 4 minutes late, and of course I got a call from your guys saying, "Are you on the phone?" And I said, "I'm listening to these guys." And yes, I'm looking at my computer screen right now, and I'm seeing both of you. And John, what I want to know first from you is, what the heck are you doing wearing a suit and tie on a Friday afternoon? Irv, I much more approve of your outfit on a Friday, and you have me laughing the whole time, so you keep it up.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that so much.
Well, Mike, I had some people that I had to see even on a Friday, and even when I leave here, immediately following the show, I have a dinner with some people that I need to impress.
Okay, I understand.
No, John, you can't fool anybody. Come on now.
yeah, Mike. See, the problem is, John, Mike knows you.
That's right.
That's right. So he knows that you go. This is really John's pajamas. You folks may not know that, but it's worth going on cruisandhughes.com to look at ustream.tv so you can see John Cruz right now in his pajamas.
I do my best. Well, Mike, I tell you what.
Crack me up. This is such an enjoyable show to be on.
Well, we like to finish the day, or finish the week rather, on a good note.
Sure.
And we're glad to have you with us today and talk a little bit about what you're doing. And we're going to do it with an air of freedom and head into the weekend with the right mindset. Now, Mike, let's talk a little bit about VIP Orbit. And tell us a little bit about the story behind VIP Orbit, because once you got out of ACT, I don't know, you could have done anything, but what made you want to get back into the business and start being an entrepreneur and building a company all over again?
Well, no, great question, John. I'll try to keep it to the nickel tour because there's a lot to it over the course of many years, of course. But I started my career with IBM back in the mainframe era, and they did an excellent job of training me to be a sales guy. It was a mandatory 6-month course, and it was like going to MBA school. We were case studies, role playing, ranked nationally. So my own peers were my fiercest competitors because of this national ranking. But what IBM did was they taught me not only to not how to sell as much as they taught me how to deal with more people more effectively, so that I could be more successful selling. And that might sound like basically the same thing, but it's not. And so kind of fast forward to 1986 and the era of PCs and this brand new thing called the laptop, and my taste into becoming an entrepreneur. I had tried it earlier in another endeavor. It failed, so I did go through it one time, but it didn't scare me. And so be that as it may, my partner and I saw an opportunity to create something, and ACT was actually created out of desperation. Most people don't know that. We were out of ideas, we were out of money, and if we didn't come up with something fast, we were going to have to go back to the big corporate world. And, we didn't want to do that. I mean, we did like the fact that we were kind of, developing our own destiny, if you will, with all the uncertainty involved in it. But we charged ahead. And so we sat down, we had a 4-hour working breakfast, and we came up with what became ACT. And it took 9 months from conception to market availability, and it was on the market April 1st, 1987. We didn't know how big it would become. We didn't know what it would do, but it did enthuse a lot of people, primarily initially people who invested in us to keep us in business so that we could develop this vision that we had and build the company, build the market, because no market existed for this. So when I say we were developing not something big, it was bigger than just something new to offer locally. This was global in scope, and it was going to impact people if we could find others like us. Now, we designed it like users. So as the co-inventor of ACT, and a career IBM sales guy, I thought like a user, what would make me more effective and efficient? And so, both of us thought that way, and that's how ACT became the design that it became known for, and it's still on the market today after 25 years. So we built up the world market. We had international offices. I mean, we were king of the hill back in the ACT era, but we sold the company in the summer of '93. And I took time off and enjoyed life a little bit in a way I didn't because I was always working. And but I always had that bug, and so I'm going to fast forward and spare your listeners more detail that they could probably care less about. So in 2004, this is an important point in my life, I literally made the decision to abandon Windows, which meant I abandoned my own child, ACT. And I went Apple for the first time, and I loved Apple, and so I bought the phone when it first came out in 2007, and I got used to iCal and iPhone.
Okay,
iCal and address book on the iPhone.
Let me stop you right there, Mike. Let me stop you right there. We're going to go in and take a short break. We're going to come back in just a couple minutes. And the thing is, I want the people to hear this backstory.
Yes.
Because this is the part that resonates with so many people.
That's exactly right.
So just hang in there for us for 1 second. Guys, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, which is brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the magazine for and about Houston's entrepreneurs. If you'd like a free copy of the magazine that will help you and empower you in your business, all you have to do is go to smallbusinesstodayMagazine.com. Stay with us. More with Mike Muhney in just a moment.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disastrous, politics, stock market,
And this alternative is...
coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan.
There's storms coming.
The
legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham Directing. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. If you're just joining in, our guest today is Mr. Mike Muhney, who is the CEO of VIP Orbit Software. Mike is also the co-founder of the Ag Software, so one thing that he does know is the software business as it relates to customer relationship management. Now, Mike, when we went to break, you were just telling us that you had made the life-changing decision to abandon Windows.
Yeah, that's right. For a variety of reasons that aren't important here, but there were a few reasons. And I really enjoyed Apple, and I didn't need Act like I once, had used it, of course. And so I got to, function okay with the built-in address book and calendar function on the iPhone, and of course on my Mac that I had before the iPhone was invented. But 2.5 years later, after having the iPhone, this is late 2009, I became antsy, if you will, because I wanted once again on this device that was with me 24/7 and the power that it enabled me to have 24/7, I wanted the same type of functionality that I once enjoyed with Act. And of course, that's my DNA. And so anything less than that powerful functionality, seamless integration, robustness, just didn't cut it for me. And so I thought surely by now somebody has done something. But what also happened simultaneously to this, guys, was the cover story of Business Week magazine, and I have it with me still. I'll never forget it. It's that important to me. November 2009 issue was entitled Apps, and it talked about this huge opportunity, this huge market, the mobile market we were all going to live in and take for granted. It was that ubiquitous and far-reaching. And when I was done reading that article, I literally was on fire. I mean, I was so infused with passion. And I went to the App Store. I looked for what was available. Nothing existed that I certainly would want to depend my life on for my business as well as personal. And so I literally stood up and I said, I've done this before, doggone it. I'm going to do it again. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And I began to write the business plan. The vision goes way beyond simply having a mobile relationship manager on a device. That's just the ticket into the ball game. We are about ready to unleash some cool new stuff over the next 6 to 9 months and year that is going to further expand this into the hands of more people than ever before across a variety of ways. And I'll just kind of leave it at that. But this show is about small business, which means it's really about entrepreneurs. And I love being an entrepreneur. I love it because I like the challenge. I'm not afraid of risk. And what is the alternative? Most, I forget the person that said it, Oliver Wendell Holmes, I believe, but he said most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be one of those people, right? I want to do something that enthuses me, that I can look forward to doing every day. And so what is one of the definitions of an entrepreneur? Well, I'm going to use a quote from the futurist and the author Arthur C. Clarke. And this is what he said. The only way of finding the limits of the possible is by going beyond them into the impossible. And so when an entrepreneur really goes into the realm of the impossible and they change the bar, they raise the bar to what was once impossible is now possible. And I just enjoy moving that bar as my contribution, my effort and self-esteem and, all the things I enjoy from doing it every day and seeing other people embrace it too and have it happen for them. And that's really what I'm about. Part of the ACT and part of VIP Orbit is because my soul is in it, and the soul of those that were with me at ACT and VIP Orbit, our soul is in it to help people emotionally connect with other people, because that's where you succeed.
Now, when we think about the software that you have with VIP Orbit, now, this software, it can really be used by someone who isn't even a professional. I mean, someone who wants to stay in touch with their network, someone who wants to know more about the people and be reminded of certain idiosyncrasies and things about people that we don't always keep at the forefront of our minds. But let's just talk about the use as it relates to being a self-employed person. Tell me about some of the reasons why, if I have an Apple device, I should go out and get VIP Orbit on my phone.
Okay, well, I guess in the big picture of things, John, I would say, would you like to be more successful? And of course, you're going to say
Absolutely.
yes. So the real question might be, are you willing to settle for number two, for second best, and your main competitor is more often than you going to win business? Are you willing to settle for that? Because even as an individual, you have competition. You're fighting to create and craft the journey of your livelihood, and hopefully you're more successful on it, right? So if I've got to compete against a lot of people, some known, some unknown, and more on a global scale than ever before, what can I do to equip myself for that? And so that's what VIP Orbit equips me to do as a tool set on this device that I already own, and manage my day more effectively and efficiently. And if I can do more in that same 24/7 than you can, selling is a numbers game. And remember, I said everybody sells. So if it's a numbers game, if I can do more, I'm going to win more. As long as I apply all of these principles and things that you still have to do and earn the right to do with others to win their business, have those accomplished. So that's effectively what this gives me on the high level of things, John. But on the nitty gritty of it, first of all, it's my executive assistant. How many people can afford an executive assistant? Very few.
Right.
Oh, you may not need one. I don't have an executive assistant. I literally have never needed one. ACT for me during the ACT era, and now VIP Orbit is my executive assistant. And the nice thing about it is it's with me 24/7, and my wife doesn't mind, right? But I mean, it's with me 24/7, and I can call up anything I need to know about anybody on demand, instant recall, as if I had a photographic memory, and it's there right when I need it, and you never know when you're going to need anything. Imagine carrying your big file, 4-drawer, 8-drawer file cabinet
Right.
filled with files of everything you know about everybody on your back. I mean, it would never happen. I can effectively do that, right? And so I've also organized people, with all the activities scheduled with them, calls, meetings, to-dos, into orbits, because one of the more powerful things of VIP Orbit, which preceded Google Circles, by the way, and I will give a comparison to it in a moment, but is that you can have unlimited orbits of anything you want. Let your imagination be your guide. That's your only limitation, the limits of your imagination. And so I have orbits on strategic alliances. Everybody I know in Houston, for example, right? Everybody I know in Silicon Valley, all the media I know in the world. Strategic alliances. I've got hotels I stay at because I travel, so why not have an orbit of hotels? I mean, I've got all the writers that I know in the world, and I can put people in unlimited orbits. So you and I, John and Irv, let's say we belong, let's say we work at SBT together. Okay, sure. So you're in my SBT orbit. Then we belong to the same church, so you're in my church orbit. And then we belong to the same country club. You're in my country club orbit. It doesn't matter. You can be wherever you need to be, but there's depth to it, and that's the key. So what's the comparison to Google Circles? Google Circles to me is nothing more than a flat tabletop where I've spread out a whole bunch of business cards and I put a rope around it. Okay, that's a circle, but there's no meaningfulness to it. With VIP Orbit, I've got this dossier on everything that's been captured and accumulated with every individual over the time and life of my relationship with them, whether new or old. It doesn't matter. It's like real estate. It appreciates in value over time. And so with it, as a member of a group, I can now do group functions as if it were to each of you individually. So if I give you, John, and you, Irv, VIP treatment, theoretically at least I should get greater success, right? So that's my responsibility, to give you VIP treatment, but I can do it with an entire group with one effort. I can send this entire orbit an email, for example, but the email goes out to each of you as an individual. You don't know that I sent it to the whole group, but simultaneously it archived in all of your history files that I sent you this email. Or I could send you a text as if you were the only one that got the text. I could update, some information in the profiles. I changed everybody from a prospect to a customer. It doesn't matter. I can work with an orbit as if I was working with individual, so I get a whole lot more done. I mean, there's a whole lot more to it, but it just makes me, race ahead. There's no traffic jam on the extra mile, and I like to be there by myself. And so if I can get ahead of competition, that's a means by which I can do it.
Now, you think about this. Now, all of this came from you reading an article.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
In 2009.
Mike stays up all night.
Now, Mike, answer me this. How long from the time that you started working on this did the product actually come to market?
Okay, good question. So in late November 2009, I started to put together the business plan because my vision is very big, and it's going to take, I knew it was going to take investment money to realize the full scope of my vision, beginning with the iPhone, and now that includes the iPad, but we're certainly not done, to prepare for the holiday season being done, and come January 2010, to begin to get underway on talking to people. So that's what happened. And then I talked to a number of prospective investors and got the first investment in my company, $1 million, in May of 2010. So that took me 7 months. And with that, I was then able to begin, to hire the programmers, et cetera, and begin to develop the product for eventual release on the market. The product is very extensive. The plumbing underneath to do what we do is much more than people will ever realize. I mean, simplicity comes through, or elegance, comes through simplicity. So I've got to make things look simple to the user, but underneath, man, do we do a lot, right? So it took 6 programmers 6 months to develop it, and then tested it, and so it finally came on the market in February 2011. So November 2010, November 2009 to February 2011 is the period of time it took from conception of idea to delivery on the market.
Wow, that Mike, I got to tell you, we're going to go to break right now, but you mentioned a couple of things I certainly want to circle back to, my friend. I want to, when we come back, I want to tee this up, John, with Mike. I want you to share what you can about the steps you took to go about raising the money to launch this, because a lot of people need to hear about how to get access to capital, and I'm sorry, I'm an old commercial banker. I want to hear that story, so hopefully you'll share that with us when we come back. Is that all right, Mike?
Sure, yeah, no problem.
All right, super. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by Megasuits. Megasuits offers an extensive collection of quality business clothing such as men's suits, dress shirts, shoes, and accessories. Call Megasuits today at 888-349-2910. More in a moment with Mike Muhney right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know,
disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan. The storm's coming. The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Our guest today is Mr. Mike Muhney. He is the CEO of VIP Orbit Software. If you'd like to go on to Mike's website and see what all the fuss is as it relates to VIP Orbit, you can go to www.viporbit.com. Now, you were teeing it up quite nicely when we were going into the break.
Yes.
And I know Mike said a couple things about money, and it sort of tickled you.
It just piqued me just a little bit. You know, on Friday something like that will pique me. You know, and but Mike, I want you to share what you can with our listeners about, and I'm talking about perhaps the steps that you went through. You've got this business idea. You know, because I've known you well enough now to know that you rarely compete, even though we use that word, because what I mean by rarely compete, I've known you to create, and what you know, people who are creative like you are, where you can stretch out way past whatever the confines of somebody's thinking might be, to frame what's happening in the future. You bring things literally out of the future into the present, so to speak. And that means that you're leading, you're not competing necessarily. Now everybody's got to figure out how to compete with you. And with that said, how do you approach an investor when there's not a whole lot for them to get their teeth into in the way perhaps of assets or income or even a proven market? You know, one of the things, and you've obviously had experience with that because, of course, there was no such thing as ACT or a CRM at that time, and you guys had to raise money then. So my question kind of has to do with, can you outline a couple of bullet points for people to say, you know, here's kind of the track that I went on?
Yeah, and again, this great question, Irv, and it's obviously very personal to me, and hopefully portions of it, or at least a nugget of it, might apply to your listeners.
Sure.
Because every story is different, obviously.
Sure.
So in my own case, obviously, you know, I had a great credential. I was from IBM, right? And
sure.
I was trained, and so there was a great repute toward IBMers and ex-IBMers, and everybody knows about the training, or certainly did in that era. That helped me. It gave me a credential that said, look, I know what I'm talking about as it relates to dealing with people. Now, in that very process of talking to the people I was, you know, having to encounter to try to raise money, I was selling, right? Remember when I said everybody sells. So
sure.
I was selling me. I was selling a vision, as was my partner. It was two of us. But, you know, we were selling ourselves and this vision and this opportunity against this, what looked like a huge market opportunity that was just beginning, PCs and laptops, and people were going to want to do more with these devices, right? So we were at a good point in time as well. And so, you know, that's kind of that side of it. But the personal side of it is you can't be afraid to say, I'm going to give it a try, right?
Sure.
And I guess I wasn't afraid. And like I said, I had failed before a few years earlier. And out of that, what was the positive out of failure? The positive was I discovered, hey, I still am alive. I'm okay. I'm surviving. And I went back to the corporate world and I did great and, you know, blah, blah,
sure.
blah. But I wasn't satisfied with wanting to do something on my own. So, you know, but that laid a safety net of, hey, it's okay to fail. And so it was an attitude of, you know, give it my best shot. There's a price to pay to proceed. You're not, you know, IBM taught us this, and I think it applies probably today just as much. In the mainframe era, they said to us salespeople, for every 100 people you call on, 10 will be interested and 1 will buy. But that 1 will more than surpass your quota. Now, that's a 1%, successive rate.
Sure.
Well, in trying to raise money, let me tell you, you do talk to a lot more people than are willing to put their hand in their pocket and write a check for you. It's just part of the game, and you can't get deterred by it. And we weren't. What we did have was a passion that was contagious. And it's essential. I believe that because people want to feel like you've got the energy that it's going to take to pay a high price to get to a level of success that few reach.
Right.
And they like to bet on those kind of people, right? I mean, the story I told you of the original angel investor in, what became ACT on this other product that failed, when he said, I didn't invest in that product, I invested in you two guys, right? And it was kind of a validation, but an awakening, if you will, too, of the way I can conduct myself, the way I comport myself, the professionalism that I apply, the integrity I display, the follow-up, all of those things that we kind of instinctively observe and sense in other people, you better hone those to a level of authenticity far beyond anything you've ever done before. So you got to be authentic. You got to be passionate, and you have to be driven, because part of it also, Irv, was we got from some of the industry gurus at the time, we were told, what do you guys know? You're only a salesperson. I mean, they tried to put us down. They tried to shut us down, and we just didn't let that bother us. We were disappointed. We thought, boy, it would have been great to have their endorsement or whatever and leverage it, but okay, they didn't. All right, so we go on. What are we going to do? Lay over and cry and give it all up? No. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. Business is war, right? And we just had that attitude. I'm sorry. Part of it.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Mike, but you just said something that sort of made me think. One of the things you talked about was that you failed at first. So was there an original idea that ACT was supposed to be that's different from what it became?
ACT was, again, the offshoot of another product that had no similarity to ACT whatsoever. It was a configurator. Now, go back to that era. We're talking in the mid-'80s here. At that time, what was opening up on every street corner basically was a computer land and an entree and a business land, these computer stores, right? And you would have to go to one of those stores to get your PCs, and the salespeople who sold washers and dryers yesterday at Sears today are selling PC technology. There was no level of professionalism. And they didn't know how to quote and configure complexity of items that comprised systems, right?
That's true.
So we created a configurator so they could be sure to do two things fundamentally. Still make sure that they were going to make a profit to the store owner, and I could give you that hard copy as you walked out of the store as a prospect, and we would guarantee that price for 30 days compared to competition that didn't do that. Well, which one gave you more assurance? A document I walked away with, or a person that said, oh, it's probably X amount of dollars?
Right.
Well, I'm going to go to the professional, obviously. And so what we did was created this configurator. Well, what happened is the computer store owners were cheap. They thought that they should be given the product free, and we said, no, we don't want you to sell it. It's for you. It's for your business. So we had a hard sell, and it was $800 per installation, and somebody had to manage the inventory. So there was a lot of work to it. But we still thought, well, what's the alternative? You gotta do it. Somebody's got to do it. So we did it. It failed, and that's when we said, daggone it. We thought it was going to be a big market, and it wasn't. We missed it. And the market is brutal, right? We all know that.
It likes what it likes.
That's right.
And so that's why I said fortunately one of the computer stores across the country that I was trying to sell, the product was called Margin Maker, by the way. Sell Margin Maker 2 was headquartered here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, CompuShop. They had 54 stores across the country, and the president of CompuShop that year was voted as one of the 25 most influential people in the PC industry on the cover of Computer Reseller News. Well, I'm dealing with him, trying to get him to buy Margin Maker, and he didn't, but he liked me. And part of the reason he liked me is from something I learned at IBM, and that is I took special attention to his secretary, his executive assistant, his gatekeeper. Her name was Ginger, and I asked her name. I got to kibitz with her. I took personal interest in her. I didn't treat her like you're in the way, and I got to get by you. when the very first, so I even sent her a dozen roses to thank her for something small she did, because I knew how important it would be to get through to John Purtell, the guy that was the president of Coffee Shop.
Certainly.
When I first walked into his office, first words out of his mouth, and we just had lunch about 6 months ago, and he told me this story again. The first words out of his mouth were, "How did you get in here to see me? You know, you're nobody, basically." And my response to him was this. Of course, I called him Mr. Purtell at the time, but I said, "Mr. Purtell, I know your secretary better than you do." And he laughed and he liked me. So a likability factor in this case, and determination to penetrate the odds and beat the odds, to him was impressive. And from there, we continued to build a relationship. So because of that relationship, I went to him and said, "We're in trouble. Margin Maker's dead. What do you suggest we do, John? I mean, help us out." And had I not sought advice, had my partner and I just said, "Doggone it, we failed," we probably, might have shut down everything. But we had that one last effort. Go talk to somebody and get an objective opinion. And John gave it to us, and I give him eternal thanks for his advice to say, "Hey, you two guys are probably smart guys. Why don't you just go have a brainstorm session and don't throw in the towel yet?" And because of that, we did.
Wow.
Mike, listening to you, it just hit me why I always enjoy your company, whether we're on the air or in person. I'm going to tell you what it is, and I bet you, John, you can agree with me on this. Mike's just fearless, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy operates just with no fear. Because I mean, how many times, John, are we talking to small business owners, or we're talking to people from around the country, whether they're in the chat room or calling in, or we see them in a seminar or something, and you can talk to them 5 minutes and you can tell that one of the things that's got them, that's holding them, is they're scared.
Yeah.
And they won't literally let the brake off, and what they're scared, what strikes fear in them is that idea of failing.
Wow.
And Mike just doesn't have that. And maybe that's the key. Maybe you got to just fail enough to now you don't worry about it.
Hey.
Well, and not be afraid of failing.
That's right.
There's no shame in failing.
Well, that's cool, and that's what a great attitude that is to have. And we're going to hold right there. We'll be right back after this. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by Ring Central. To get Ring Central's virtual PBX for your business, you can call them today at 888-716-5022. Stay with us. The education continues in just a moment.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
"Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?"
or even worse,
"We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response."
"So how do you make the radio work for you?" Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
The storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Our guest today is Mr. Mike Muhney. If you've missed any portion of this interview, you definitely want to make certain that you catch the entire thing. You could always go to cruzandhughes.com, click on the blog talk icon, and go into our archives and listen to this show in its entirety at your leisure. Guys, you know what? This has just been this type of education and information you don't get anywhere but on this show. And Mike, we're so happy to have you here talking about not only your experience, but just having your passion here.
Sure.
Irv just said off the air, that's one of the things that he likes best. And I'm so glad I'm in a suit today because I'm going to go out and sell somebody this evening. But Mike, I do want to make 2 points. Two of the things that you're talking about that I think helped in your success. One is reputation, and the other are relationships. Now, and I know that your product helps in both of those areas. Now, first of all, so it's a two-part question. One, I want to know about reputation management because I'm not certain that I know even what that is. But more importantly, tell the people who are listening how important are relationships and how VIP Orbit helps you maintain that value of your relationships.
Okay, great questions, John. Since you mentioned reputation, everybody already knows the answer to the question. But often when I publicly speak, and I'm talking about the individual as part of some of this is how you present yourself, how people perceive you, which is the more important aspect here, right? And then what do they determine over time that you're really made of? I ask people, what is your most undeniable, asset, far above anything else? And people will say, well, my education and my time and, blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, you're right. All of those things are good, but none of them are your most important asset. And I finally get to say, because nobody typically gets it, your most important asset is your reputation. Why? Because it precedes you, it follows you, it's on either side of you, it's on top of you and below you. And it's your job to manage it, but you can't control it. The control of it is in the perception of everybody that surrounds you for the rest of your life. And so how you maneuver in that persona of what is others perceive as your reputation determines how far they will allow you to go with them, because every relationship is of any meaning is permission based. And by that I mean, you're having me back on the show here, which I very much appreciate, guys, but you've given me permission to engage with you, right? And I've given you permission to take up some of my time. This is a permission-based relationship, and that's what partly they're all about. So the sounder, the stronger, if I can have a reputation that is so superb, especially compared to competition from a business standpoint, I already have a foundation that I can launch from to proceed and pursue, my efforts with other people. So that's how I view reputation, John, is that, it's something that other people think of in their own mind, and I can't control what they think, but I can control what I do so that they think better of my reputation.
Absolutely.
And tell others.
I like that.
That's priceless.
Okay.
That is
and then as
absolutely
far
priceless.
as, relationships and VIP Orbit, the vision statement, and I say that purposely rather than mission statement of VIP Orbit. The vision statement is this. It's pretty simple, but it's extremely profound. We literally believe in the infinite potential of closer relationships. I mean, you cannot measure, not even a poet could measure in the most brilliant poem what can be done between two people when they pursue something that leads them to who knows where, right? There is no ceiling that you can put on a relationship unless something happens between one or both of you. And I'm not saying every relationship can reach the stars. Obviously, I'm a realist and I'm a human being, but my goal is always, I want to take this to way beyond where other people might be able to take it, such that I have a priceless relationship. So I set very high standards for myself on what I want to achieve out of relationships. I know I have to pay the price to earn the right for how you perceive my reputation and the permission you give me to continue with you. And as long as I do that excellently, and differently and distinguishingly from competition, then we're going to continue on a journey together, and who knows where it will lead. I mean, the investor in my company, the first investor that wrote $1 million check for me, I mean, I'll just give you an example. We met over social media, believe it or not. It's the only good thing in my life that's come out of social media, right? We met on LinkedIn. Why? Because we're both ex-IBMers.
Wow.
And we belong to the ex-IBM alumni group. And I put myself out there as a consultant for CRM, design of software, et cetera. And he responded. He's a European. And so we got together here in America when he came over, and we started talking. And he was very familiar with ACT and everything, but he so appreciated the reputation of ACT, but also that I wasn't arrogant about it. Very important. He told me this, so I'm just relaying what he told me.
Certainly.
That I wasn't arrogant about it, but I had a vision and a passion that was contagious on what I wanted to do with VIP Orbit. And we kept talking over a couple months, and he wrote a check, and he's on the board of directors and a brilliant man himself. And I am proud to be associated with him. And we have become friends where we've shared things that only the two of us know about each other. And what that means is pricelessness.
Absolutely.
Okay? And so if I can do it with one, how many other people can I do it with? But I at least have to give it my effort, and the other person has to give me theirs too. But I at least have to give it my effort to improve the chances. And so that's what I do with relationships. And that's what VIP Orbit helps me to do, John, to complete your question, hopefully, is all of these little details that I capture, and the importance of, is it important that I capture the details in a software product? Well, yes and no, it is. But what's more important? The importance is, again, toward your reputation question, the perception of them is, it was so important to me to remember what you said that I put it down so I don't forget it. That means I was paying attention to you and the focus was on you. And who doesn't like to have focus on them? And if I pay that kind of attention to you, give you VIP treatment, I'll get greater success.
Wow. There's a lesson there, Mike, and I think that, especially in this day and age, I mean, all of us want to feel special. All of us want to feel important. And one of the things that you did the last time we had you on the air, you went to VIP Orbit, you pulled my name up, and then you pulled out some of the things that I had said to you just in conversation that you put in there that you were able to remember. And I know that does have an effect as we do business with individuals, and making the next person feel important does help you in your business.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, just like I remember in Irv's profile, I've got it marked down that he's an Android user, unfortunately. So, Irv, the question to you is: have you upgraded to a real smartphone called an iPhone yet?
No, I have not, man. I have not. Listen, Mike. I'm being held hostage by my wireless provider plan. What's going on, man?
Well, Mike, I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I so look forward to the next time you're in Houston, and I'd feel it's an insult if you didn't let Irv and I take you to lunch.
Well, I appreciate that, and I will remember that, and you can be sure you'll know when I'm coming down there, and I do look forward to meeting up with you guys personally. And thank you so much for this opportunity again, guys, especially. I can't tell you how much I do appreciate it. Yeah, you're great for giving me this platform, and you're just great guys, and you can tell I enjoyed talking with you.
All right, my man. We love you back, and we'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure, man.
Right.
Our guest today has been...
have a good weekend.
Yes, sir. You too. Our guest today has been Mr. Mike Muhney. If you'd like to connect with Mike and see more about his product, you can go to www.viporbit.com.
To have your small business featured on Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, you can call our business office at 832-460-2020 or contact us through our website at smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. We're in the home stretch. Don't go away now. We'll be right back right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ad targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is?
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
The storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. If you've just joined in, you've missed a great show. Our guest today was Mr. Mike Muhney. Mike is the CEO of a company called VIP Orbit. He's also the author of a book called Who's in Your Orbit, and he's the co-founder of the ACT CRM software. And most of us who've ever worked in any sales capacity are familiar with ACT.
Sure.
Because ACT was really the game that started it all in terms of customer relationship management. And as you said before, it's always a pleasure when we have Mike on the show. He has a wealth of knowledge, and he always leaves something behind for, the entrepreneurs to pick up and sort of put into their systems and be a little more successful.
Yeah, I mean, John, no doubt. I mean, the takeaways from having a conversation with Mike, just understanding, associating with somebody like this guy, understanding how he thinks, not necessarily what he thinks, but how he thinks, how he arrives at finding the niche or creating the market or creating something that wasn't there a minute ago.
Yeah.
And then finding a place for it and educating people about how to go about seeing this as an advantage to them. I mean, the guy builds tools.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that makes us all better. And, how cool is that?
Well, and he made the comment, too, about, the investor that he has in Europe who said that he's not arrogant about it. And from the very first moment that I've ever talked to him, be it through social media or on the telephone or in person, Mike is probably one of the most approachable people that I know.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's one of the things that I took away, and I always take something away from being in concert or in conversation with Mike, is that you got to like somebody a lot to write $1 million check to him.
Oh, man, I really have to like you. I may even have to like your kids a little bit.
That's exactly right.
Guys, we want to thank you for listening to us this week. You've been paying attention to the Small Business Today show with Cruz and Hughes. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. Everything that we do has been brought to you by our Small Business Today magazine. It's the magazine for and about Houston entrepreneurs. Even if you're not in Houston, you should still go on to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com, put your information in, and let us send you the publication. Although the entrepreneurs are different, the lessons are what you need. They stay the same. Until tomorrow, or rather until Monday, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
Irv and I will see you on Monday.
Go Texans.